So part of my goal for the summer was to talk about more movies that I've bought and haven't watched. So these could be movies I haven't seen or movies that I've seen before but I intended to watch and never did. Intended to watch again at least. And so I'm going through a bunch of these movies. So I have two reviews up on my second channel, Chan Reviews More, and you can check those reviews out. But excuse me, I'm gonna make this a series and review every single one of the Spy Kids movies. Now this is for a couple reasons, because like I just said, it's part of my goals, obviously. But number two was these movies are directed by Robert Zemeckis. Now, if you do not know who Robert Zemeckis is, um, he directed the Spy Kids movies, as I just mentioned. He also directed Shark Boy and Lava Girl. This guy is an interesting director, to say the least. He's very big into the 3D gimmick for a while. And he is also going to be involved in directing and putting together the new Boba Fett show coming to Disney Plus this December. And yeah, so I thought it would be interesting to take a look back at these movies and kind of talk about some of his earliest movies. So I've seen the first Spy Kids movies back when it came out. I also do want to mention there is a rumor going around that Netflix might be doing a reboot of these movies because they did do a sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl, so that could be possible. We don't really know what's going on with that. That'd be cool. But let's talk about Spy Kids. So growing up, I've seen these movies before. Actually, the truth be told, how I've seen these movies so many times, I think the first one we owned or something like that, but for the most part, we didn't own these movies, my family. But that little logo down there, Miramax, is why we saw these so much. Because if you don't know, Miramax used to be owned by Disney. Now, I don't know the exact story why they got rid of Miramax, but Miramax was a Disney's adult label to release movies. They had a couple labels like that, Touchstone and things like that. So, if they didn't want a movie in their name, they just released it under Miramax. But that also means they still own these movies technically. So these movies aired on Disney Channel a lot. Especially the third one. The third one is pretty much ingrained into my memory. But after watching this first one, I was like, come again? Like, this movie is bonkers. This movie's bad. But it's not like a boring kind of bad. It's fascinating. I mean, we have this villain in this movie. This is like a kid's spy movie. But it's the most ridiculous kid's spy movie. And it's like insane. Like, I have to imagine that the people making this were not very sober while making this movie. Because, wow. They have this villain in this movie who he has this TV show that children love, and he's taking people and turning them into these weird creations to like market his TV show. And then his parents, these kids' parents who are spies, they don't know they're spies, get captured by him, and then now they have to be told that they're spies, and they're set on a dangerous mission to go rescue their parents. Now this is a little ridiculous because it's like you're telling me that no actual other spies who are adults could go on this mission, and if the parents didn't want their kids to know, then why didn't they just I don't know, send someone to look after them for a little bit? Because theoretically these people could get in contact with people. There's a lot of loose threads in this movie. Like I said, it's not very good movie. It's actually quite a bad movie, but it's like a fascinating bad movie. And it's like, if I was a kid when this came out, I'd probably love it. I don't think I'd like it now because, well, like, it's cool to see like kids doing spy stuff, but so much of it is dated and bad that I can't see kids really liking it now, which kind of shows why these movies were so talked about when they came out and for a while, but they're not really talked about anymore because they're not good movies. They're very dated, but they're so fascinating. Like, because if you're going to do a kid spy movie, there's so many ways you could have done this in a such easier and less chaotic and less stupid and just insane, bonkers, absurd way of doing this. Like, there's so many other directions you could have taken this project. They could have been so much lazier with it. I mean, I can't really say this movie's lazy. I can say it's not good, but lazy, no. I mean, this movie's fascinatingly bizarre. And I think that if you haven't seen this movie since you were a kid, watch it now because it's insane. I mean, I could not believe some of the stuff within this movie. It's just like, wow. But yeah, I just can't believe how absurd this movie is. It's just like, what? Um, but yeah, I mean, the effects in this movie are also very dated. I think they're not as bad as in the third movie, but that's just because the third movie, the whole movie is that, and and so like the whole movie is just bad visual effects. This movie's like they use bad visual effects because it was like 2001. It was kind of the best you could do with movies of this level of budget. Not the best we could do with visual effects at the time, but the best we could do with movies of this budget. Um, but it was like, you know, it was fine, and they used them sparingly enough. They were smart about it. You know, they still use actual practical effects, which is good. You know, that's the thing. You gotta use practical effects. This movie, but yeah, it's just of all directions to take a project like this. Why this? I do not know, but it happened, and there's three of them. There's actually four Spy Kids movies, but the fourth one's out of print, and from what I've seen of that movie, I didn't. These three I watched as a kid. The fourth one did not, and most people did not watch the fourth one as a kid. So, you know, I'm not gonna be watching that one. But yeah, there we go. Spy Kids. That's a movie. I'm still like emotionally in shock from what I just witnessed. It was just like, what is this movie?